Tensions in the Persian Gulf are once again drawing global attention as the United States increases its naval presence in the region. Reports indicate that the USS Gerald R. Ford, the newest and most advanced aircraft carrier in the U.S. Navy fleet, is being deployed to reinforce American forces already operating in nearby waters. This move comes while the USS Abraham Lincoln Carrier Strike Group remains active in the broader Middle East region, signaling a significant concentration of American naval power. The deployment of the USS Gerald R. Ford is not just symbolic. Commissioned as the lead ship of its class, the carrier represents a major leap in naval technology. It features advanced radar systems, electromagnetic aircraft launch systems, and upgraded defensive capabilities designed to respond to multiple simultaneous threats. With a displacement of over 100,000 tons and the capacity to carry more than 75 aircraft, it serves as a floating airbase capable of projecting power across vast distances. The Pentagon has described such deployments in the past as defensive measures aimed at ensuring regional stability, protecting American interests, and safeguarding allied nations. In this context, Israel remains one of Washington's closest strategic partners in the Middle East. U.S. officials have repeatedly emphasized their commitment to Israel's security, particularly during periods of heightened regional tension. Iran, however, views the increased American military presence differently. Tehran has long criticized U.S. naval deployments near its coastline, describing them as provocative and destabilizing. Iranian leaders argue that foreign military forces operating in the Persian Gulf increase the risk of miscalculation and conflict. In response to previous deployments, Iran has strengthened its own naval exercises, missile capabilities, and air defense systems, signaling that it is prepared to defend its territory if necessary. The Persian Gulf itself remains one of the most strategically vital waterways in the world. A significant percentage of global oil shipments pass through the Strait of Hormuz, a narrow maritime corridor that has frequently been at the center of geopolitical tensions. Any disruption in this region can have immediate consequences for global energy markets, shipping routes, and international trade. Military analysts note that aircraft carriers like the USS Gerald R. Ford serve multiple purposes. Beyond combat capability, they act as deterrents. The presence of a carrier strike group can send a message of resolve without a single shot being fired. In many cases, such deployments are designed to prevent escalation rather than trigger it. At the same time, the concentration of military assets in close proximity raises concerns about accidental clashes. History has shown that in tense environments, misunderstandings can escalate quickly. Both Washington and Tehran have at times expressed interest in avoiding direct confrontation, even as rhetoric between the two sides has intensified during certain periods. Regional players are watching developments closely. Countries such as Saudi Arabia, Egypt, and Jordan maintain strategic relationships with the United States, balancing their security concerns with diplomatic considerations. Meanwhile, other regional actors continue to navigate complex alliances shaped by security, economic, and political priorities. For Iran, the situation presents both challenges and opportunities. On one hand, increased U.S. presence puts pressure on Tehran's military planning. On the other, it allows Iranian leadership to rally domestic support around themes of sovereignty and national defense. Iranian officials have repeatedly stated that they do not seek war, but will respond firmly to any aggression. The broader international community is also involved. European powers, including the United Kingdom and France, maintain their own naval assets in the region and participate in maritime security initiatives aimed at protecting commercial shipping. Diplomatic channels remain active, even during periods of military buildup. Experts emphasize that while military deployments capture headlines, diplomacy often continues behind closed doors. Back-channel negotiations, indirect communications, and multilateral talks frequently accompany visible shows of force. In modern geopolitics, military posture and diplomatic engagement often move in parallel. Another critical factor is the domestic political landscape within each country involved. Leadership decisions are influenced not only by external threats, but also by internal political pressures. Economic conditions, public opinion, and regional alliances all shape strategic calculations. Energy markets have already reacted cautiously to reports of increased naval activity. Oil prices tend to fluctuate when tensions rise in the Gulf, reflecting fears of potential disruptions. Global investors closely monitor statements from Washington and Tehran for signs of escalation or de-escalation. Military technology also plays a central role in the current environment. The USS Gerald R. Ford incorporates advanced systems designed to detect and intercept threats at long range. Carrier strike groups typically include guided missile destroyers, cruisers, submarines, and support vessels, forming a layered defense network. This integrated approach enhances survivability and operational flexibility. However, military strength alone does not determine outcomes. Strategic patience, diplomatic skill, and crisis management mechanisms are equally important. Communication hotlines, international mediation, and confidence-building measures can help prevent incidents from spiraling out of control. For viewers trying to understand what this means in practical terms, it is important to separate rhetoric from verified information. Official statements, satellite tracking data, and defense briefings provide insights into troop movements and deployments, but long-term intentions are often more difficult to interpret. The Middle East has experienced cycles of tension and de-escalation before. Periods of heightened military readiness have sometimes been followed by diplomatic breakthroughs. The key question now is whether current deployments will lead to further escalation or serve as leverage for renewed negotiations. As events unfold, global audiences will continue watching closely. The presence of multiple aircraft carriers in or near the region underscores the seriousness of the moment, but it does not automatically signal imminent conflict. In international relations, deterrence and signaling are complex tools, often aimed at preventing war rather than starting one. Ultimately, stability in the Persian Gulf affects far more than the countries directly involved. It influences global trade, energy security, regional alliances, and international diplomacy. Decisions made in Washington, Tehran, and other capitals will shape the trajectory of this situation in the weeks and months ahead. For now, the world waits, analyzing each movement, each statement, and each diplomatic signal. Whether this moment becomes another chapter of tension or the starting point for renewed dialogue depends on the choices of leaders and the effectiveness of international engagement.